Welcome back to Action Figure Obsession. I'm Avian and Loaded, your pal, here with the latest developments in my obsessive rumination over Captain America. Um, Managed to get that Henry Cavill Superman into my lineup of McFarlane DC Multiverse toys. Moved Orion onto the Jack Kirby Thousand Oaks Memorial Shelf. How's that for thinking outside the box? Orion was created by Jack Kirby, and yes, he is a 7-inch scale figure. Just about everything else in that display is a 6-inch scale figure. But I put him in the back, and I put him next to the Watcher, which is a really tall Marvel Select figure, because of course the Watcher, Uatu the Watcher in the Fantastic Four, is a tall guy anyway. So hopefully that'll work. Moving Orion into the Jack Kirby Memorial Thousand Oak shelf to make space for my sort of Henry Cavill looking Superman. I think it works, and the reason why I had a desire to move Orion off of the top shelf, the McFarlane DC Multiverse shelf anyway, is because after I did that video the other day showing you my Justice League McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures, that sort of space harness thing that he wears to zoom around the galaxy. Yeah, that broke. A piece of it snapped off. Let me see. Yeah, I tried to super glue it. I'll just show you here before we get into the meat and potatoes. So so this goes on his left foot, this stupid thing. I don't know who the hell. I mean, I realize it's Kirby's design, but, fuck McFarlane Toys for not thinking of a better way to engineer this. So this thing, his left foot is supposed to go in there, and then his right foot, where's it going to go in there? Well, it's supposed to go in here, right here, but as you can see, you might be able to see a little residue of the super glue, which doesn't seem to want to adhere and hold it together, and even if it did, probably if I try to put the figure back in it, it would just break off again anyway. So it broke off at that point, and then this is the point that yeah. So I'm trying to super glue. Trying to super glue this thing back together right there, and it's I don't know what the diameter of that little round thing is there, but it ain't much. It ain't much to work with. It ain't much for the super glue to look at the shitty blackwash they put on this thing instead of actually painting it. Imagine how Kirby-like and wondrous it would have looked if they had actually painted all these various little knobs and sliders and whatever the hell they all are, and this thing here, and the tubing could have been a nice silver paint, and the foot things could have been whatever. No, just make it, gold swirly twirly plastic, and somebody eat a black jelly bean and then spit on it, and we'll tell them it's blackwash. Yeah, McFarlane trash. I'm telling you, it's garbage. I'm going to try to super glue it one more time, but then it's just probably going to go in the trash. There's no way to salvage that thing. So anyway, Jack Kirby was a good comic book creator, unlike Todd McFarlane, and very talented. And he created with writer and artist Joe Simon, back just before World War II broke out, this wonderful character, Captain America. Steve Rogers, that's the first one right there, the first Captain America in Marvel Comics. And over on the right here, we have his boy partner, Bucky Barnes, who grew up to also spend some time as Captain America in this outfit, which was designed by Alex Ross, and is a pretty nice outfit and a great run of comics by writer Ed Brubaker, and I believe artist Steve Epting. And then, at some point, Sam Wilson, the Falcon, also became Captain America. And look, he took this stupid McFarlane stand, and it got him up in the air. Look at that. Look at that. And I think that's pretty good. Superman doesn't need that stand. Sam Wilson needs it, and he has it now. And he's flying high. Flying high with the Falcon. That would have been a good name for his letters page they'd ever been good enough to actually give him his own ongoing title, which I don't know that they ever did. At least not as the Falcon. Maybe as Captain America for a while. Maybe even as Captain America for now. I don't know. I don't really pay much attention to that stuff anymore. Anyway, for what it's worth, just to give you a little of the history of these figures, the Captain America on the left is the Hasbro Marvel Legends 20 years of Marvel Legends Captain America from 2022, and it is celebrating, or was celebrating, the 20th anniversary of Toy Biz launching the the Toy Biz Marvel Legends line back in 2002 with an initial wave of 4 figures that were Captain America, Iron Man, the Hulk, and the Toad. And Hasbro updated and re-released, upgraded, released new versions of those figures, or newish versions of those figures in 2022 in the 20 years line of Marvel Legends. Then the Falcon, I believe, was also a Jack Kirby creation, if I recall correctly. Sam Wilson. First he was the Falcon, then he was Captain America. He and Bucky, I don't know if they're still Captain America in any meaningful form in the 616 Marvel Universe, because again, I don't really read the comics anymore. They got a little too expensive and a little too baroque for my tastes. I don't know. Comics were simpler when I was a kid, and they were easier to understand and easier to digest, and I could walk down to the store with $3 and come back with a whole stack of them. Now, $3 might buy you one if you're super lucky. But, yeah, old man yells at cloud. I know. And then, of course, Bucky Barnes, also created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, as sort of the Robin the Boy Wonder for Captain America during World War II. And then he was dead for decades in the 616 universe, and Ed Brubaker came along and said, you know what, I'm bringing Bucky back. And Marvel surprisingly went along with it. Bucky's death was one of the few in comics that was sacrosanct and never to be messed with. See also, Superman's parents, Batman's parents, Uncle Ben in Spider-Man. And I realize all these people have been brought back as either alternate universe versions or time travel or some sort of baloney. At one point or another, but Ed Brubaker and Steve Epting, I think it was Steve Epting. If it was a different artist, I do apologize for that. Please leave a note in the comments. But, bringing Bucky back first as the Winter Soldier, then as Captain America in his own right, it was just a brilliant move. Nobody saw it coming, His body mold, by the way, is the Vulcan body mold. Vulcan, Cyclops' brother from the X-Men, was the first character to use that body mold. And the Vulcan body mold was meant to become the new Bucky Cap mold. And here we have Bucky Cap on that Vulcan body mold, so the circle is complete. Hallelujah, Selah. And also the Falcon, I should have mentioned, this body was largely, I think it was it the Marvel Now Captain America, the Steve Rogers Captain America that came out around 2014, I think it was, and then it was later retooled a little bit to be the Falcon the Falcon Cap, Captain America, Sam Wilson, in the 3-pack with the Kate Bishop Hawkeye and the Vision from Young Avengers. See, it does come back to me sometimes eventually. I agonized over that 3-pack at Toys R Us. It might have been Toys R Us exclusive. In fact, I think it was. So Young Avengers was a hot title at the time. I really enjoyed it. Young Avengers, it was an excellent comic book. And the Falcon, I think, was sort of the mentor of the team, if I recall correctly, as Captain America. Sorry, I'm using the terms interchangeably. It's just easier to keep it straight in my head. It's basically Falcon Cap and Cap and Bucky Cap, but they're all Captain America in these costumes. And, I don't want to do any disrespect to their time in that role. So, yeah, Sam Wilson, Captain America, was, I think, the mentor to the Young Avengers during the Young Avengers run of comics. Wonderful comic. Can't recommend it enough if you like Avengers. It's definitely the next generation of Avengers. Many of them, literally, their children or offspring of some manner or another. But anyway, this Captain America body that the Falcon is built on was a repaint and possible retooling somewhat, I think, of that that 2014 Marvel Now Captain America, which was very much inspired by the movies. That figure holds up very well design-wise. My two biggest problems with it are the head was a little too small, and it even was a little too small at the time. And it's also short compared to modern Marvel Legends. Just, let's see, 2014, so 2026. Was it 12 years later? 20. Math is so hard. Yeah, but it's less than 20 years anyway. I know that. And maybe the best thing to come out of that Marvel Now Captain America was putting the Sam Wilson Falcon on that body, because he looks really good on it. And I don't know. I don't recall if they made him a little taller or not in the torso or the legs, if they kind of made it so that he was a little taller in accordance with modern Marvel Legends or more recent Marvel Legends. But the fact of the matter is, with flying characters, a centimeter or two doesn't really matter, because you can get them up on a flight stand and they tower over everybody just by dint of the fact that they can fly. In fact, one of the things that I've been thinking about doing is putting together a Fantastic Four display to show you, using the Marvel Select Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic, which I do have on my 7-inch character shelf, along with the Walgreens Thing and the Human Torch, the Retro Human Torch, the Flame On Human Torch up on a flight stand. And that would give you 2 7-inch scale figures and 2 6-inch scale figures. But I think it would work really well for a photo shoot or for a short video, just because it won't matter that Reed and Sue are about an inch taller than the Human Torch, because, again, he'll be up on that flight stand giving you the appearance of some height and superiority in terms of his presence, while Reed and Sue at 7 inches will fit fairly well, I think, with that Walgreens Thing, which I think may be about 7 inches. But the Thing was never meant to be a towering monster like the Hulk or the Abomination. He was meant to be a little bit bigger than average and very thick and beefy and rocky, but not meant to be super tall. So I really think with a little bit of perspective and the right camera angles, you could probably knock it out of the park with the 2 Marvel Select, Reed and Sue, and then the Marvel Legends, Ben and Johnny. I think it can be done. It's something I've been thinking about for a while and kind of mentally preparing myself for. I've been watching some reviews of those Marvel Select Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman figures to kind of refresh my memory about what you can do with them, because I didn't use any of their effects parts in putting them in my 7-inch figure display. I just didn't want them taking up a lot of space, and their effects parts are fairly real estate hogging. They take up some space because Sue comes with like a force shield that she resides within. And Mr. Fantastic, obviously, his limbs are going all over the place. And there's even a really cool effect where he can wrap his body around another character. And if you're tempted by any of this and you want to see those figures, let me know in the comments, and maybe that'll inspire me to get off my butt and get into the closet and dig the parts out, because while I have the figures, all the effects pieces for those Reed and Sue figures, they are definitely in a closet that I've got to move stuff to get into. So I'm not in any hurry, and I'm just looking for an excuse not to do it. So maybe don't leave a comment. Just give me a break. Let me stew some more on this. Well, one thing I can promise you, if there's one thing I know about an action figure obsession, is it's sooner or later I'm going to have to scratch that itch. And it could be tomorrow, it could be a month from now, but you'll probably see those figures sooner or later anyway. So yeah, here we have, again, that 20 years Marvel Legends cap, Steve Rogers on the left, and on the right we have the James Buchanan Barnes Bucky Captain America, and Sam Wilson Captain America flying high over them all. And here's what it looks like if you pull back and you see what they look like on the work table here. And I told you I was going to do something with the Avengers. It's not finished yet, but they're kind of where I want them to be. I want to have a little more space between these Avengers and everybody else, but I did put the Captain America on the Sky Cycle, sort of leading kind of a parade of Avengers here. We see Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, and my red Black Widow. That might get replaced with a regular Black Widow. We got Black Knight. We got Hawkeye. We got Captain America. We got Ultimate Quicksilver Kit Bash. We got Luke Cage. And we got Thor. And we got the Falcon. And we got Old Man Hawkeye over there, and J. Jonah Jameson. What's he doing here? I don't know. But yeah, a whole bunch of Avengers right in this general vicinity of the center of the work table. And I do have a vision. But it is not fulfilled yet. But the fact of the matter is that they are roughly where I want them to be, and that's a lot of the work. But my foot still hurts. I'm still recovering from what was it called? Calcification tendonitis. Basically, my tendon in my shin was shedding calcium particles and was causing swelling and inflation. Yeah, inflammation and inflation. Yes, it's my fault now that gas is $4.50 a gallon. It's my shin's fault. Inflammation and bruising, and oh my God, it was a whole thing. And I think that I am recovering slowly. I saw this on the pit, and I decided to try it. I drew a Sharpie circle around my bruise for the outline of it so I could see, because I was having a hard time telling if it was getting bigger or smaller. I'm sorry to gross you out. I don't know why I'm talking about my feet problems. But that worked, because now I see that the bruise is receding, and the outline from the Sharpie is still where it was, and the bruise is getting smaller. So that is wonderful news. Huzzah! Maybe I'll get better and recover from this, and someday be able to actually walk through a supermarket again without wanting to die. So anyway, yeah, I just can somebody edit that all out? Just leave the Captain America. Yeah, can you do that? No, really? All right. Nobody wants to help me. Story of my life. Anyway. So this has been a look at my three, sort of 21st century Captain Americas. I didn't put John Walker in here because I don't have a Captain America that represents John Walker's time as Captain America. I mean, I have the MCU John Walker Captain America, but he doesn't really fit. And then I just have an angry, pissed off Captain America, and that could represent John Walker because he's always pissed off at something. But no, I didn't want to do that. I could have put the Captain in here too, my comic book, The Captain, who is John Walker, but he wasn't Captain America at that point. They've never really released a John Walker Captain America per se, which is Latin for, I don't know, per se. As if, I don't know, I don't actually know the textbook definition, per se. But I do know it's spelled P-E-R-S-E, and it drives me nuts when I see people on Reddit or elsewhere spell it P-E-R-S-A-Y, per se. I'm like, come on, you can do better. So yeah, these are the three captains in all their glory, all their power and glory, all their worthiness. They look pretty good, don't they? I think that they do. I really think they do. I like that they all have different shields. Bucky and Sam both have the shields they came with. The 20 years cap, as I've mentioned before, is sporting the Marvel Select Captain America shield from the 2024 7-inch Captain America that is probably one of the greatest Captain America action figures ever made. It's either this one or that one, in my opinion. And both come with just a slew of accessories. And again, I'll remind you, if you can find that Marvel Select Captain America that comes with 3 different heads and 2 different shields, because he has the World War II shield and the modern shield. If you can find that Marvel Select Captain America at anywhere for under $75, for $75 or under, I highly recommend that you get one. I paid $30 for the 2 of mine. I mean, $30 each, so I paid $60 for them, But I'm telling you right now, if I didn't have one and I discovered how good it was, I would gladly pay $75. Hell, I'd probably gladly pay $100 for it. But I realize the times are tough, and they're getting tougher because the people who want things to be tougher are winning. So that's just how that is. Yeah, we've got a lot of editing to do on this one, so just pretend all the feet talk and the political talk didn't happen, and it was just a celebration of my 3 different guys who have been Captain America in the 21st century. Was there a 4th one or a 5th one? If there was, leave a comment. But they have to have the title, Captain America. That has to be their actual title, Captain America. To the best of my knowledge, Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson, formerly the Falcon. John Walker was Captain America for a while in the comics, yes, but that was in the previous century, known as the 20th century. That was not, to the best of my knowledge, in the 21st century, except on TV. And for the purposes of discussing action figures and comic book-based action figures and Marvel 616 action figures, I do not give a shit about TV shows or movies. And there may occasionally be an exception to that, and I certainly will talk about it and highlight it and explain my logic and my headcanon if needed. But for now, I'm just talking about guys in the comics, and these are three of my favorites, and it's not a coincidence that all three of them were created or co-created by the legendary Jack King Kirby, born Jacob Kurtzberg, and died the king of the comics not long before the end of the previous century. So he never lived to see Bucky become Captain America or Sam Wilson become Captain America, but I'm pretty damn sure that he'd have approved and he'd have been proud of it. Just knowing as much as I do about Jack Kirby and what he believed and what he thought about superheroic fiction, I think that he would have been cool with that. And that's all I have to say about that, I guess. Remember, F. McFarlane Toys. And like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you know anybody who's into Captain America or Captains America. Share the video. Just hit the share button and copy the link and send it off in an email or a text. It's super easy. And anything else? I don't think there is. Maybe there'll be another video tonight, but probably not. Despite the caffeine, I am waning. I was waxing, but now I'm waning. And I think that's going to do it for this edition of Action Figure Obsession. Thank you for stopping by and spending over 20 minutes with me, most of which were spent talking about one of my favorite characters, Captain America. And thank you for not ever getting sick of me talking about Captain America. And if you are sick of me talking about Captain America, you should probably go watch something else. Because, man, Captain America is just my guy. I don't know what to tell you. I just absolutely love him. All right, that's it. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks again for watching the video. And remember, he does it for the dream.